Okay, so moving on from the hinge, and we're going to look at the squat. So, big difference between hinging the hips and squatting is that with the hinge, or if you do a hinge, turn so that we can see you, right? So when she hinges, it's maximum flexion of her hip and then minimum of her knee. Her knees are nice and soft, but they're not completely bent. And now to turn that into a squat, you're going to pull your tailbone to the floor, bend your knees as much as you can. And now we've got maximum flexion of her hips and maximum flexion of her knees. Now Laurie's got awesome mobility and pretty much an amazing squat, so she can probably hang out there all day. We're going to go over what we want you to do when it comes to the basic goblet squat with a kettlebell. There's 1,000 ways to squat, and every video you're going to watch is going to have different cues and people telling you what's right and what's wrong. The main thing is that you are squatting the way your body allows you to, safely. Okay? So, and when I say safely, I'm also talking about with regard to holding resistance. I can drop into a deep squat, but I've got tight ankles and tight back, so now my back is quite rounded, alright, and my feet are caving in, compared to Laura, who can sit way down, keeping her spine nice and neutral. She's got lovely mobility at the ankles, so the knees are really traveling forward, great dorsiflexion, all of that stuff. I can also squat on my toes. There's no right or wrong when it comes to that. We are simply just looking at getting the basics down with a kettlebell. Okay, so pop back up, and what we're going to do first is start you on the bench. So sit on the bench, okay, pop down, and we're going to work from the bottom up. Okay, so when we're on the bench, what we're looking to do is to get her heels as close to her center of mass as possible. So that's her sit bones pretty much. So she's got great ankle mobility, so she can bring her heels all the way back. Keep coming, keep coming. She's going to bring them back as far as she can without the heels coming off the floor. Okay? So that's going to be completely different for each person. If I was to do it, my feet would probably be here before my heels started coming off. The closer we can get them to underneath the body, the better it's going to be. The easier it's going to be for Laura to sit up. She's going to reach her hands out, create a little bit of counterbalance here. And I want her to engage all the stuff from the first videos, talking about bracing through the core, through the trunk. So imagine you're holding onto two imaginary poles here, all right, and create that tension. So you're feeling it in here to get as tall as you can. I want you to drive your feet down, and imagine you're pushing down into those imaginary poles as well, keeping the length of the spine to drive up onto your feet. Good, perfect. As she comes back down, all right, she's going to send those hips back slightly and then pull herself towards the bench all the way, not letting herself plop or fall onto the bench. Okay, let's drive up again. What we want to do is get a couple of reps where she's able to control the drop and drive back up without using momentum. So she's not lurching forward and she's not falling back. Okay? Now at the top, as she comes up, we want to get these guys working hard, but we don't want to punch all the way through. So just let your lower back extend a little bit too much. Yeah, there we go. So oftentimes we can come up from the squat and just punch the hips all the way through here. We're trying to control that with the strength from the front. So keep that length and those joints stacked above each other. Okay? And come back again. Hips back, drop it down. Okay? If we turn the bench around and face the camera, alright, hop onto the bench again. What we're looking for here in the front angle is that everything isn't imploding in. So as she presses and creates strength to drive up, the knees aren't knocking together, and the same thing as we come down, the knees aren't knocking together. We're also looking at the feet. As she comes up, the arches are staying strong, and as she comes down, the arches are staying strong. As opposed to letting it all go and then coming together and the arches collapsing. So come up with those knees not being stable, right? And then come down with the knees not being stable. So you can notice the big difference there. Just be mindful of that. The difference between letting everything go and controlling or stabilizing from the hip through to the ankle. Okay? So, from there, we're going to come off the bench and we're going to take the bench away. So now, you don't have the feedback of the bench. So we're going to go exact same cues, right? And we're going to try and test out our depth. So we're going to drop down, hips slightly back, then pull the tailbone to the floor, letting those knees come forward. Good, excellent. And we judge our depth on what we're using the squat for. So as I was saying before, we can get all the way down, even if you're tight mobility, like a tight back or tight ankles like me, I can get all the way down. But what am I using the squat for? If I'm using it to strengthen, I'm probably not going to go this deep because I'm probably going to hurt myself. All right. Laura, however, can go that deep because she's able to keep everything supported beautifully. Okay. So drive up from there. If you don't have, and you probably won't have the same level of mobility that Laura has, you're going to go down slowly. All right. So send that butt back, go down really slowly. Pay attention to the feeling you have with your back and your shirt. Once it starts to cave, so start grounding that up. Yeah. Feel if it starts to get tight in one particular place. And if it does, we know we've lost that neutral spine. So driving up again. Good. This time we'll go back and imagine it starts to kick in right about now. Okay? So say her ankles are super tight, her upper back is super tight, and she gets to here before her back starts to round, then that's as far as we're going to go, and we're going to work in that position to try and lengthen again. Drive up, okay, and once more go slowly down, okay, getting that imaginary point of restriction, try to hold that, so straighten out. Good, stay tall. Use those imaginary poles. Drive down into the floor. Now I want you to, with your exhale, drop a little deeper each time. Okay? It's no problem for Laura. Well, her quads are going to be on fire. But it's no problem mobility-wise. Alright? But it might be, if you're restricted, a lot harder. And you're really going to have to use that breath to tell the nervous system it's okay to go there, okay? So nice big exhales. Each exhale you're looking to go a little deeper, okay? Up we come, all right? And in the next video, we'll add in using the kettlebell.